Hey everyone, welcome to Joygazm's Otaku Tonight
Today.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Premium Steve.
And today we're going to talk about conventions. Anime versus comic conventions.
Now, we've been to a few, so we've got quite the experience. I just recently got back from the big convention in the U.S. known as International San Diego Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. It's funny though, usually when I go to conventions and somebody asks me, you're going to Comic-Con? And I'm like, no, I'm going to anime conventions. They're like, oh, you're going to Comic-Con. And I'm like, no. Like every convention that I go to, everyone thinks they just call it Comic-Con.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So this one is plainly known as Comic-Con because it's the largest, so it gets the generic title.
Yeah.
We had some friends at Anime Expo this year.
We did. Unfortunately, they are not here to discuss Anime Expo, but
we had to check, make sure they weren't hiding.
No, maybe they're under here. I don't know. But we went to Anime Expo in 2012, so we were well versed in the differences in the world of anime cons versus comic book conventions.
Yes. So first off, we got to say scale. Right?
Yes.
So Japan has some manga conventions, which I guess would be equivalent to comic book conventions.
They're called Comic-Con, and they're more for doujinshi, which are fan-made comics. And those are like in the, hundreds of thousands of people. They're ridiculously long and ridiculously big. And it's mostly porn, I think.
So that's what they have over the pond on the other side. Mm-hmm. But here in the U.S., the biggest Japanese culture convention is Anime Expo, held in LA every year.
Yep.
That one gets about 80 to 90,000 people. I'm not sure what it's at right now.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But it's a large volume of people, so they do stuff fairly efficiently. Yeah. You get panels for industry. Funimation is there touting their stuff. Suncoast, Aniplex, they're all touting their stuff.
If they're the bigger conventions, then you'll get the Japanese voice actors. You'll get Japanese bands come over to play concerts. I know Anime Expo one year had even Hatsune Miku.
Yes.
They had Gact come in there one year. That's a lot of anime conventions. That's what I love about them is awesome concerts. So I saw some really big bands at Anime Central and
there's other ones that are smaller scale, like Anime Central in the Midwest. You have Sakura-Con on the East Coast.
Yep, you've got Otakon in Baltimore. There's Youmacon also. A-Con in Texas.
So there's a variety around. It's popular enough where you get plenty in each region.
And they're growing. They're growing ridiculously amount. There's so many anime conventions in the Midwest that
and you'll see new tiny ones pop up, go down. Sometimes the tiny ones are fun. Speaking in conventions in general, you get the chance to do a lot more things without it being so crowded. I know the big ones when you're trying to get into, for example, Anime Expo or even any of the ones in the Big West or Otakon, you have to wait in a line for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of harder to make friends in bigger conventions because they don't seem as intimate because everybody's kind of just rushing around to get everything they want done because there's just a sea of people. There's way too many.
It feels a lot closer, a lot more like a family.
Now with comic book conventions, I haven't seen too many kind of small ones. Usually they're more mid-sized to big range.
Well, so they do start out small. Yeah. They usually don't have a whole bunch of backing, and it's usually just some gatherings at not necessarily convention halls, but they'll be at comic book shops. They'll have it, and then it'll grow out. Now, it's gotten so out of hand that a lot of them are sponsored or run by other corporations. So the people who run Comic-Con run 3 other conventions.
Right. There's another, I know, company runs C2E2.
Yes.
I think, do they do Wizard World too, probably?
No, Wizard World is separate.
Okay.
But so you have these bigger companies who are running these things now.
Yeah.
Because they're so profitable. Ironically, compared to anime conventions, they're actually profitable.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the top 5 are non-profit.
Well, it's because Yeah, most anime cons are non-for-profit, which is, I guess, a little better because most comic book conventions, I mean, that I've been to, you usually for guests you have to, pay for signatures and stuff like that. Where in anime conventions,
so the actual
don't have
comic
to.
book convention is the people who run it is non-for-profit,
Yeah,
but the venue has become such a moneymaker for all these companies that you get sponsorships all over the place. Now you're seeing this happen with, you do see this happen with Anime Expo. You see a lot of sponsorships, Bluefins all over the place when they were coming out. Crunchyroll
is there.
Funimation will be touting junk there.
Yeah,
But then you get your smaller comic book conventions like, well, it's not really small, New York Comic Con, which actually is a combined anime convention and comic book convention.
Anime and then
They separated them and put them back together. And then you have ones like in the Midwest, C2E2, which is growing. It's on its third or fourth year, and it's growing quickly. So you see, as it grows, they get better and better guests, which is good for both anime and comic book conventions.
You see, I feel like comic book conventions in general are a lot more for older and more hardcore, like collectors and just fans of comic books in general. You'll see more of those types of people, whereas in anime conventions, you'll have more of the younger crowd that just want to go kind of have fun, that like freak out, the weeaboos out there, otaku. They're not as like hardcore when it comes to like just collecting things, or
now,
they're more some conventions like anime conventions have turned more into like party conventions, which is kind of disappointing but kind of fun sometimes if you just want to hang out and do not anime related things.
Now, for that, with a lot of them becoming younger crowds for the anime conventions and comic books older crowd, you'll get a mix. I mean, it's a general statement, but you'll get a variety at both. The cosplay scene.
Yeah.
Cosplay is a common term between comic book conventions and anime conventions. It's costume
play. I mean, a cosplay actually just came from I forgot what Japanese person he saw Star Wars conventions, and he saw people dressing up as Star Wars characters, and he kind of brought that idea over to Japan, and that's where cosplay came from.
So cosplay came from fan enthusiasts and comic book conventions, migrated its way over to the East in Japan, and they came back over here for anime conventions.
It became huge, yeah.
Now you do see a lot of, not as much, but you do see some cosplay at comic book conventions.
Oh, Comic-Con probably a lot more than...
Actually, no. It's actually the opposite.
Okay, never mind.
At the smaller comic book conventions, you see a lot of cosplay. They're done a lot better because those fans are fairly well involved in what they do, and they pay attention to detail. They collect. They are the definitive of OCD, a lot of them. Yeah. There are those on the anime convention side, but you see a lot more cosplay on the anime convention side.
Oh, yeah, you do. Probably because the costumes in general are not all just spandex for superheroes.
A lot of them are common clothes, so sometimes it's easier. They're not as intricate.
And I mean, just anime outfits in general, like character outfits, are just ridiculously... I mean, they're just ridiculous.
You see a lot of people come up with it because there's more volume in anime conventions.
Yeah.
There's a lot more not so quality ones.
Oh, yeah.
And it's important to remember not to knock those people because they may just be starting out. After talking to them, you may realize they don't care, and then you just walk away.
For fun.
For fun. But then there are the people who are really trying, and they don't know exactly what they're doing. So that's where you always want to, talk to them, find out, make friends. And you may get some tips, they may give some tips, stuff that works, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, biggest tip, don't be an asshole to cosplayers in general. So, you were at Comic-Con.
I was at Comic-Con. Now, when we talk about these two separately, comic book conventions and anime conventions, that's for the most part true. Then we have Comic-Con, which is the exception. Comic-Con is everything. They now call it the pop culture convention.
Right, pretty much. I mean,
it covers everything.
Television, movies.
A lot of times when you go, you expect, this, or running around.
Dude, that's amazing.
But you get television, you get comic books, you get animation. Nickelodeon's all over the place there. It covers everything. Nickelodeon. So on that, you expect to find comic books there. Ironically, these are pretty hard to find. They do give some out. They do tell some new previews, but for the most part, those are pretty hard to find. Well, it's so much entertainment. You have to go to a back section. They have video games there. Nintendo was there. That's where I got this shirt.
Nice.
It's a Comic-Con exclusive. You want it as a prize. They have gaming lounges. Xbox was there.
Everybody's
there. So much everybody. Funimation was there. That's where I got this Comic-Con exclusive. And that's the big thing at Comic-Con. Yeah. Exclusives. Toy exclusives. You can see a little sticker there. You have to wait insane lines to get this stuff. Dude. I got up at 2 a.m. to wait in line to get this when it went on sale at 9.
Jeez. So, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out some stickers and just start popping them on things.
Yeah, and they go for a crazy amount because they're limited runs.
Put them on eBay.
You should see these people lining up for Hasbro or Lego minifigs. The little minifigs for Legos, the little tiny figures, the Comic-Con exclusives, go for hundreds, almost thousands of dollars.
Oh.
One of the things that I got to do was for Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, which is the new movie coming out, which we covered in our Dragon Ball Z topic.
August 4th.
They were giving away these posters, and they were giving away temporary tattoos. It says, property of the Galactic Frieza Army.
Aw,
I don't put that tattoo on there.
Frieza's bitch. No.
They also have dog tags. It says the same thing. Property of Galactic Frieza Army, and they're all similar with the look. And then they had a whole big tent there of this looks like a landing ship. If you watch in the movie, it's this big circular landing ship.
Okay, yeah,
invasion ships. They had one of those that was like a pop-up tent there.
Jeez.
And they had people walking around in the armor like Vegeta has.
Saiyan armor.
Yeah, the Frieza Army armor. They had people walking around like that with little scouts.
Yeah.
And they were touting people in, saying, Frieza wants you to join your army. I'll post pictures of this a little bit later. Paul put them with this post, so not only check out the YouTube video, but check out the post and the Facebook page. We'll have some pictures up. So you go in, and it's to test your power level.
Oh, God. Is it one of those things you hit?
Not that, but they had 3 things, and it was to test your agility, your energy, and your power.
Oh, God.
Out of those 3. So you got a scorecard.
What did you rank?
I ranked over 9,000. I had a power level of over 9,000.
That is amazing.
I had a power level of 14,000 about. And you can see on the back of the scorecard all the stuff.
Bam. So you're no average human.
No, I'm not. I'm not average. I'm pretty powerful.
You're above.
So I had 14,000. The top score on the scoreboard, which I'll post pictures of, was I think 17 or 18,000. Mm-hmm. So it was a few thousand off from the top leaderboard.
I would have got.
But they had you come up on the leaderboard. We're gonna do a giveaway today, and we're gonna give away this poster, the temporary tattoo, and the dog tag.
I didn't even know about this.
This is a surprise.
Oh, I like giveaways, I guess.
So we'll have all the contest details also on the post, so you want to be sure to check that out. It'll be on the Facebook page too.
Yep.
And we're gonna send one of these to you. You get a poster, you get the dog tag, you get a temporary tattoo, and maybe a surprise in there. I don't know.
Maybe.
Depends how I feel.
Depends. Anime cons, comic cons, sci-fi cons. You should, if you're a fan, go to these places. Support your fandom, because I mean, people. If you don't show love, then they're not gonna keep going with this.
The more people that go, the more they end up doing for it, the better guests they get to have.
Especially the smaller conventions. Support your smaller conventions for sure, because like the most fun I've had is at some like tiny conventions, and then like watching them grow into bigger things. It's awesome. You gotta go there.
If you can't afford all of it, there's always local ones. So look for what's around you, and volunteer if you can't afford a badge.
Oh yeah.
As much as people try to get the freebies, these are non-for-profits. These are people working their butts off to try and keep these things going.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves is there's a lot of cosplayers kind of out there that are more like nose up in the air kind of cosplayers that will go to conventions just to do photo shoots, but they won't get a badge or anything. So they're just taking advantage of the location and everything like that. And
there's some anime conventions that are known
don't
for
do
that.
Don't do that. Don't go to cons and not support the con if you're just going to be there around all these people and around, they don't do this, they need...
The panels are run by people like you and me. They come up with the ideas, so support the ones that you think are good. Go check it out even if you're not sure.
Oh, yeah.
If it's something that interests you, and see if it's of any interest. And at the end of it, give the panelists feedback. They love feedback. They love to know what could make their panel better.
Yeah. So we have a little meowth right here.
So
and we have
our next topic is
Smash.
As we're trying to keep this up, we have a Wii Remote, Smash, Meowth, and I got a Gold Mario Amiibo over here. Next topic we're going to cover is Nintendo.
It's a sad time for us all now, since many of you know Mr. Iwata has passed away on July 11th.
Unexpectedly, very unexpectedly. He was only 55. He did a lot of great things with Nintendo. He was a developer for HAL Laboratories,
Smash.
just best known for Smash,
Pokemon,
known for Kirby. And then he joined up in '93. He became the president, leveled up. Became the president of Nintendo, and helped usher in and pursue the DS.
The DS, which is like the number one selling, handheld ever.
Handheld ever now. It beat out Game Boy, who's been on the market forever, and all the iterations. And he helped push the Wii, which was the number one best-selling console in the world. And I applaud it, not because of that, but for its innovativeness and willingness to push the boundary of what the norm gameplay
Nintendo
is.
has always been the one to change the way, we game in general. I mean, they, starting with 64, they added, whatchamacallit, the Rumble Pack. Now all controllers have Rumble features in there. I mean,
they invented the D-pad.
The D-pad. They did. I forgot about that.
They added the button layout configuration that you see on all consoles now.
They set the standards for everything, and I know a lot of people give crap to Nintendo saying they're not making hardcore gaming. No, they're not making hardcore gaming. They're making fun gaming. They're making gaming what it should be, which is just enjoyable. So that's going to be next week. So be sure to check us out on Thursday. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and we'll see you then.
And be sure to tweet to Nintendo your support.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.